Hi there, it's good to have you joining me today. I'm going to take you through a Pilates class which will be easy on your knees. So no squats or kneeling in this class. So if your knees do tend to feel a bit sore, this is a perfect class for you. And we're just going to start sitting on the ground with your feet flat down, and I'll just have them about hip distance apart, and pop your hands behind your thighs. And then sit up nice and tall. I sometimes pull my thighs towards me a little bit so that I can sit really nice and tall, and just let your shoulders drop down. Take a nice deep breath in and then breathe out. Just let the shoulders drop down and just roll back a little bit until your arms go straight. And then you round forward. You sit tall again. Give yourself a little pull there with the thighs to float the chest. Let the shoulders drop down. Nice breath in. And then you breathe out and just roll back. Just grab onto your legs there till your arms go straight, and really feel like your belly button's pulling back towards your spine. And then you round forward and you sit tall, going to that nice length through the spine again, and then rounding back. So just roll the pelvis back, sit there on your tailbone, and then come forward and sit tall. Nice breath in, shoulders will drop down. Do a couple more like this. This is a nice way to, get that movement through your spine, rounding and arching. And sit tall. Round. Sit tall. And then just round back. Just go back until your arms are straight. Really scoop out the tummy, so really feel like you're drawing the tummy back, and then just let your hands go, okay? And then what we'll do here is we're just going to take one arm up a little bit, and then bring it back, and then the other, and back, and up, and back, and up, and back. And then we're going to sit up, so reach forward with the crown of the head, and then sit nice and tall. Find that length again in your back. Roll back here again, just go back a tiny way, just where you can hold it here, and then one arm goes out to the side, but you stay looking straight ahead with your body, and bring it back. Then the other arm out to the side and back. That's it, you've got to keep drawing your tummy back towards your spine to maintain that shape. One more on each side. Good. That's the way, and then just come forward and sit nice and tall. Roll back one more time here, so you don't need to go back very far, but we're just holding that there, really drawing the tummy back. Turn the palms to face down, then one elbow just pulls back and forward and back and forward. So you pull the elbow back, reach it forward. One more on each side. That's the way. And then you just sit up. Very good. Now we're going to lay down on our back. So I'm just going to scoot forward a little bit, and then just help yourself to lay all the way down, and put your hands down beside you. So here we're going to pop your feet hip distance apart, and pop your hands on your hip bones. Just let your shoulders relax, and then press your lower back into the mat, and then release, go the other way. And again, lower back presses into the ground, and then release. So I'm just rocking the pelvis forward and back. Another good way to stretch the lower back. So when you press your lower back into the ground and the pelvis comes towards the ribs, breathe out, and then breathe in when you reach your tailbone away and you've got a little space in the low back. So exhale as the pelvis comes towards you, feel that tummy contraction a little bit, and then inhale, just let everything relax as you go into a little arch there. So exhale, and then inhale, and again. That's good. Then go back to where you feel is just a nice even place. Hands are still here on the hip bones, and we're going to drop one hip bone down towards the mat, and then bring it back, and then the other hip bone drops down. So we just tip over to the side and back. Your knees move just ever so slightly, not too much. And we're not trying to bring the hip up, it just like a seesaw, and it just goes side to side, up and down, to the side. It can be easy to get this one a little bit, you know, where you hike the hip up, but we're trying to just go straight over to the side. That's it, keep concentrating. Nice gentle movement through your back there, the pelvis. That's good. And then just let everything be nice and even again. Then what we'll do is we'll lift one, put your hands beside you, and we're going to lift one leg up into tabletop, and then just pop the foot back down, and then lift the other leg up and put it back down. So we're just up and down. I always try and imagine putting my foot back exactly where I lifted it up from. If I was on the sand and had a footprint in the sand. So I'm just trying to find that same position. And the bend of the knee just stays exactly the same. So when I pop the leg down, it feels like I'm arcing my thigh bone away from me a little bit. Just let your shoulders be nice and easy and relaxed. Your arms soft on the ground. And then let's just keep that going. But as one leg lifts up, you just take the opposite arm up to the ceiling and then put everything back down. Same on the other side. So I'm trying to keep my torso nice and steady on the ground, even though my limbs are moving. So we call that disassociation in Pilates. So I'm trying to move my leg through the hip joint and move my arm, but just keeping my torso nice and steady. So from hip bone to hip bone, shoulder to shoulder, is staying square. I'm not going skew-if. Good, and then we'll just lift up opposite arm and leg and hold it there. All right, what we'll do now is we're going to tap the toe down as the arm comes down as well, lift it straight back up. So we just go down and up, down and up. Now start to feel like that, maybe you've got, imagine that you have a belt and it's just tightening a little bit around your waist, not too much, just enough to keep you nice and steady as you're folding here at the hip. Nice easy breath in and out, in as you come up, exhale down. And then we're just going to pop that side down. Make sure you're nice and square through your body as you float the other side up, and then we just tap the toe down, let the arm come down. We go up and down. Remember, I just breathe in as everything floats up, exhale as it goes down, feeling the belly drop or deepen. So I'm keeping my back steady. So when the leg lifts up, I shouldn't feel my lower back press down into the mat. It just stays exactly the same. And that's enough. Let's just pop that arm and leg back and down. And then walk your feet so they're glued together and your legs are glued together. Then here we're just going to open the knees out to the side and roll onto the little toe edge of your foot, and then bring everything back. And again, open. Exhale, bring everything back. Now I want you to think of your inner thighs here, like there's magnets on your inner thighs and they're drawing back together. And also feel like the waist is drawing inward towards your belly button, just as your legs come in. So this nice feeling of zipping up to your midline. So we'll work the inner thighs and the core here, and some really good movement for your hip joint. Let's add the arms now as well. So arms go up to the ceiling, and when the knees open out to the side, so do your arms. They go out like a T, and then you zip everything up. Open out to the side, and then zip everything back. So imagine that midline, a line right down through your center, and then you just drawing everything back. The arms, the ribs, the waist, the legs, everything comes tucked back up. Open out and exhale back. And last one. Then what we'll do here is we're going to take the right knee out, but hold the left leg very steady and bring it back. And again, the right knee just opens out, nothing else changes, and bring it back. So this is where we want to keep the torso nice and steady again. So we're not rolling onto that side or letting that hip just drop right up. You're not rolling to the side. You just can just move the leg. Let's add an arm now. Keep that right knee going out to the side, and then just take the left arm out to the side and bring everything back. Just 3 more like that. That's the way. Good. Okay, just hold your arm steady. Let's get the left knee just out to the side and bring it back. So you don't want to go so far that you drop over. Just take the leg out and bring it back. For some reason it requires more concentration for me here on this side. You might find the same thing. Okay, now let's just take the opposite arm out to the side as well. As the right knee goes out, the left arm opens, and then bring everything back. That's good. And bring it back. Can you feel your waist working? Deep pelvic floor there. Drawing the leg back. Last one. Good. And then just bring your arms back and down. Then what we do from here is we're just going to take the knees over to one side. So you keep your knees glued together and your legs glued together and your shoulders down, and bring the legs back. Go over to the other side and bring the legs back. Now, keep your shoulders heavy and soft down on the ground so we can work the waist here. And I keep my feet stacked and my knees stacked. Then, see how you go lifting your legs up to tabletop to do just the same thing. See how I just move my arms out to a low diagonal? That will give you a little bit more stability as well. So don't go too far, just test the water, see how far you can go over without lifting the shoulders off. With the breath, I usually breathe in when I go over to the side and breathe out to bring everything back. Inhale. And if you need to pop your legs down at any time, you can go ahead and do that. That's no problem at all. Just like we practiced just a moment ago. And do the side to side with your feet on the ground. Let's change it a little bit. So go over to the side, then stretch your legs, bend them back, and bring them back to center. So go over to the side, stretch the legs long, bend them, and back to center. So go over, have a stretch, the back of the legs, bend again, back through center, and over, and stretch, bend, and back, and over, and stretch, and bend, and back. Good. And then you're just going to take your hands and just pop them underneath your pelvis there. So you just propped up a tiny little bit. So what we can do here is just lower the thighs down a little bit and then bring them back up and lower them down. So I'm not necessarily trying to get my toes to the ground or anything. I'm just taking the thighs down and I'm pulling my tummy back away from my thighs as my legs sort of dip away from me. And then we're just going to pop one foot down softly and then the other, and then lift up your hips and take your hands out. Okay, so now we have the feet hip distance apart. We interlace the hands and put them behind the back of your head. Okay. From here, just lift up the elbows off the floor a little way, and we take a breath in. And then when you breathe out, you're going to just tuck the chin, lift up and over into a little chest lift, and then you lay back down. And again, just take a little lift up and then lay back down. Inhale, exhale to lift. That's good. And back down. So we're just curling up and over. A little space between the chin and the chest is always good there. And if you just look right between your top of the thighs there and back down. And a little lift up, back and down. Last one. Good work. Now you can always come back to this one, but if you'd like a little bit more of a challenge, you can lift both legs up to tabletop, glue your legs together, and then lift up in this shape and then back down. So we're just leaving the legs up, so you can choose if you have them up or down. Don't forget your breath. Exhale on the way up, inhale down, and exhale and inhale. Now let's take one leg out long and keep one leg bent. Now as you lift up your head and chest, the knee comes in, and then when you lay down, the other leg reaches out. When that leg comes in, you lift up, and as you lie down, you switch and the opposite leg reaches long. So tuck everything in, the chest and the knee, then stretch one leg long as you lay down. Bring everything up and stretch out. Bring everything up and stretch out. We'll do two more. And lift and stretch. It's hard, isn't it? And last one. Good. And then we just pop one foot down and then the other. That's good work. Now, just roll over to your side now. Okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to lay all the way down and just prop your head up. We're going to have the bottom leg a little bit bent and the top leg straight. So what we do is we make sure that this top hip is right on top of the bottom hip. Sometimes it's easy to be rolled back like this, but we really want to be up and over that bottom hip. Then I'm going to flex that foot at the top there, stretch out through the back of the leg, and then here I'm just going to take the leg forward, point the toes and bring it back. Flex the foot, bring it forward, and point the toes, take it back. I'm trying to keep my leg parallel to the ground, and again folding here, right here at the hip crease. So I'm trying not to swing around in my body too much. This will be very good for your hips and for your glutes. I always use this hand here on the floor to keep myself steady. And then we're just going to take the leg back and reach the top arm forward. And as I reach the top arm forward, I'm going to lay down my head. So I've got a big long diagonal stretch now from fingertips to toes. Just hold it there and just go up and down with that back leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then bring everything back and in. Good. And then prop your head back up if that's more comfy. You can choose if you have your head down or up. It's fine either way. We're going to put your hand on your hip bone. Keep your hip nice and steady as you just lift up the knee and let the feet separate as well. And then back down and up and down. With these little clams, you should feel it through here, through your glutes. It's important to try not to let the hip roll back and really bring the tummy in. That's it. Are you feeling that yet? Really press the heels together and see if that activates this muscle. You really want to find an activation. Sometimes even just touching that proprioception, where you can touch the muscle that you want to switch on. Make sure you feel it nice and strong, and then relax. Nice and strong. That's it. Yeah, that worked when I touched my body. It turned on better. Yeah. So sometimes it's really concentrating, because I can do up and down and not think too much, but if I really concentrate, I can activate the muscle. Okay, good. Help yourself up. And then we're just going to pop the legs out in front, just like sitting like we started. And what we do now is we're just going to take a side bend to stretch our upper body. So you're going to take one arm, reach it over to the side, and come back, and then reach the other arm up and over. So you just want to make sure that your knees stay square, and that means your hips will be nice and steady, and you can really stretch into the side of your body. Up and over. So nice deep breath in when you reach and stretch the side. Exhale to come back. Inhale to go over. Exhale back. Good. And back. Good. Then we just spin around and we'll do the other side. So just laying down, you can prop your head up or lay down, the top leg's long, and we're just going to adjust so our top hip's on top of the bottom hip. You can put this hand down here for stability, and we have this foot flexed. It's almost like it's reaching the leg long, reaching the waist long. And then when the leg comes forward, where my pants fold, that's where you want your leg to, that's how I imagine it. Where my pants have a crease, that's where I want to crease at my body. Point the leg and take it back. Whoop. You go forward and back. So I've got to be careful. When I take the leg back, I want to roll the hip back. Maybe you do as well. So when the leg goes back, I imagine pushing the hip forward. So flex to come forward, stretch the back of the leg, point, and take it back with control. So it's good not to go too fast, because then you can get opening of the hip without letting your whole, that side of your hip roll back. I often think sometimes the slowest moves are the hardest in Pilates. And then we take the leg back and we hold it there. The top hand reaches forward as you just lay your head down and take a big stretch. So really reach, reach, reach. Find that big stretch. And then we just go up and down with that back leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then everything comes back. And then we're ready for our clams. So before you start, the hips are nice and steady, the heels are going to press together, and then we just lift up. Don't worry if you don't feel like you can go too high. Just see if you can get this activation here on the glute. See if you can touch and feel it. And it's interesting, isn't it, to notice how we are different from side to side. I always find it harder to get the range in this side, but you just pay attention to the difference and then just keep working to do as much work to make yourself as even as you can. But none of us are perfectly even. I feel like that's enough. Take your legs out long and then just roll on over to your tummy now. Okay, so I want you to have your feet hip distance apart, Hands right under your shoulders so your elbows are reaching back. I want you to feel the feet, the tops of the feet touching down, the hip bones anchored into the ground, and your eyes are just down on the ground. Your elbows are reaching back, and then what you do is you look forward, lift up your chest towards the end of your mat, and let your elbows soften down next to your rib cage. And then you roll back down, and then again, feel the tops of the feet, feel the hip bones, then look to the end of your mat, lift up your chest, let the elbows soften down, and back and down. And again, looking forward, lifting up, up, up. That's it. Back and down. And when you lift up, can you keep your fingers light like you were playing the piano? Okay, so you're not pushing with your hands. Back and down, you're using your upper back. And again, lift up, 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 up. Play the piano. And back and down. And then lift up, 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 and hold it there. Lift one hand up off the ground. Reach it forward. Bring it back. Put it down. Lift the other hand. Reach it forward. Bring it back. Put it down. And then you lay down. Take a little rest. And then here we go again. You just lift up your eyes, lift up your chest. Shoulder blades slide down your back. Float one hand off the ground. Reach it forward. Bring it back. Put it down. Lift the other hand. Reach it forward. Bring it back. Put it down. And then you lay down. We'll just do one more like that, everyone. Lift up, 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 up. Hold it there. One hand lifts. Reach back and down. Lift up. Reach back, down, and then you go down. Then I just want you to take your hands one step forward so they're as wide as your mat and in front of your shoulders. And we do the same thing here. So you just look forward, lift up your chest, and then you push into your hands this time and straighten your arms as much as you feel comfortable. Eyes look straight out on the horizon, your shoulders are dropping down, and then you just lay yourself all the way back and down. And again, so you look forward, lift up the eyes, lift up the chest, push into your hands. Only go as far up as feels nice on your back. And then roll back down. My elbows are just soft out to the side. And again, eyes, chest, push into the hands, look straight out, drop your shoulders, and then melt yourself down, bone by bone, really articulate through your spine. One more like that. Look forward, lift up the chest, lift up the body, just hold it there, take a deep breath in. And when you breathe out, you're going to let your tummy drop down onto the mat, the bottom rib cage, right through the middle of your chest, and then your head. Well done. Then we just roll gently to the side and help yourself up. We're going to sit again with the knees slightly bent. So just sitting here with the feet hip distance apart and the knees slightly bent, you're going to take the arms wide, reach them up over your head, and then fold forward like you're giving your legs a big hug. Giving your back a nice stretch there. And then you roll back up, the arms go wide, you do a big circle up over your head, and then just melt forward, giving your legs a big hug. And then you gently roll your body back and up. The arms go wide, lift up through your spine and melt forward. Giving your legs a hug, stretching your lower back, and then rolling all the way back and up. Stretch the legs out so there's maybe just a tiny little bend in the knees. And this time we do one more like this, but with the legs outstretched a little way. So arms go wide, your arms go up over your head, and you're going to melt forward, draping your body over your legs. And then rolling yourself all the way back and up. So put your feet flat on the ground again and fold your arms so you hold onto your forearms like this. You're just going to pop the wrist right in front of your sternum and make sure your arms aren't up too high because I want your shoulders down. And then you want to try and keep your knees very steady and your hips nice and steady as you take a little twist to one side. So you just do a little twist, twist, back, twist, twist, back. So just check your knees. They'll want to move, but you have to control them so see if you can make them very still. That way, you're going to get a lovely twist for your spine. And I usually do a little pulse, pulse, back. Pulse, pulse, back. So nice and long in the spine, including the back of the neck. Sit really tall. And just imagine that it's a small movement, but your vertebrae is just spiraling as you're lifted. Exhale, exhale, back to center. Last one. And back. Then we just take the legs out, just popping my heels off the edge of the mat with flexed feet and knees pointing straight to the ceiling, fingertips out in front. And we're just going to tip forward, touch the ground, and then just tip straight back up. And again, little tip forward and straight back up. And again, a little tip and back and up. This time, tip forward and leave your fingers there, and then just walk them a little bit further forward so you can fold forward and let your head relax as well. See if you can keep your feet flexed so that you can really enjoy that stretch in the legs, inner legs and the back, and let your head go. So this is our last stretch for the day. I just want you to take a few moments where you can take some nice deep breaths, nice and slowly. Enjoy that feeling of stretching. Enjoy the feeling of knowing you've done a good workout and feel proud of yourself. And then just walk your hands very slowly back towards your body as you stack your back up again. And then we just lift one leg, put it back, and then the other one, and that's you all done. Good work.